covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, hey, thank you for joining us on 5 Plus. We have a very special guest with us today. We have Peyton Bolling, the new Miss America's teen, formerly Miss Arkansas's teen, won in June, and then just recently competed and won the title. So we want to know, what was that like? The feeling when they called your name to win Miss America's teen?
It was just unreal. So when they called the second runner-up, and it was me and Allie Mims, Miss Alabama's teen, as the first runner-up, we knew that one of us was going to win. That was just such an exciting moment because all week we were like practicing how we were going to stand under our top two, and we're like, we're going to be the last two standing. So I knew the organization was going to get a good girl no matter who they crowned. And when they called my name, I snapped back into it and was like, oh my gosh, I just won Miss America's teen. So it was just a crazy experience that I can't even articulate all the emotions that go into that moment.
Yeah, I watched that moment at home, and you were so shocked when they called your name.
Yes.
And a lot of people, probably you don't understand that feeling until you're there, right?
No, it's funny because a lot of comments were like, wow, she's so dramatic. And I'm like, yeah, I know I was. I couldn't help it. It wasn't like a fake dramatic, because when at Miss Arkansas, I was shocked then, and then you go to Miss America, and in all honesty, I didn't hear my name called at all until that moment. So it was just a huge shock, and you never know what the judges are thinking. So it's just so crazy to think that it was a national title that I just won.
Well, and what a lot of people might not know about you was you were a Diamond State Princess when you were little, but you hadn't competed in a pageant until you did a prelim for Miss Arkansas this last summer.
Yes.
And so your third pageant ever, you win the national title, and a lot of people prepared their whole lives for this. And so to get to do that, what do you think is kind of maybe what set you apart and made the judges fall in love with you?
Honestly, I think it's that I haven't done pageants. I was a fresh face, but in some ways I feel like I have been preparing my entire life. I know what I want to do. I want to go into politics. I was United States Senate page, and I don't think I could have won Miss Arkansas's teen without being a page. So there are those experiences that help me learn how to speak, how to be conversational. I've been a dancer my entire life, but learning how to walk in heels, that was something I had to learn how to do. But it really, I think, was just right timing. I keep saying I was threading needles. I didn't know I was threading, being a page, and then Miss Arkansas's teen and now Miss America's teen. Everything just happened to line up in the exact moment. It's all about timing.
And your mom competed in the Miss America system, and so is that what kind of helped you to get into it?
Yes, so she was Miss Dogwood, and my prelim was Miss Dogwood's teen. So we very much shared that, and that's such a special moment. She has been my ride or die through this entire experience, and it's been very helpful knowing what she's been doing and how she prepared. But also, Miss Arkansas has grown and changed in so many different ways. So we had to use all of our resources around us, all the people that were willing to support us. So we were both learning through this journey.
And so she's just a small part of the community that you have.
Don't get me wrong. She is a big part of it. But
the community is so big when it comes to here in Arkansas. So along with your mom, can you kind of talk about the people that have helped you get to where you are today and how they prepared you for that moment?
Yeah, so Miss Arkansas organization is so lucky. Every single time our two girls are so prepared because of the work the board puts in, our executive director, Lacey Glover, and our teen executive director, Abby Houseworth. So anytime I needed to call someone, they were right there. They were, come to Blytheville, which is 5 hours away. We'll find a stage. So the amount of support the Arkansas girls are just unreal, and that's why we continually do well every single time.
And so when it comes to competing, a lot of people don't know what that looks like. So can you talk about the phases of competition you do and how you have to prepare?
So Miss America is a different type of pageant. It's not necessarily a beauty pageant because it is a scholarship organization. And with that, you have to do interview, which is my favorite part because those are the skills that you're going to learn to be a functioning human being, which is conversational, how to articulate emotions and communications. So interview is a huge part, and then a talent, which mine is dancing, but there's so many different types you can do, whether that's dancing, singing, a monologue, sharing her story, so many different things you can do in that avenue, and then fitness, showing how you can be confident, and then evening gown and onstage question.
And so you're a senior at Bentonville High.
Yes.
You've already accomplished so much, having been a U.S. Senate page, and now you're Miss America's Teen. So long-term goal, what's next? You mentioned politics.
Yes, so I would love to be president of the United States. And I think I say that because I want to be a leader and I want to get involved. My passion is civics, which is why my CSI Civics in Motion is all about finding their passion and finding how you can get involved in your community and your government through that. President of the United States would be amazing, but just like the threading needles analogy we made earlier, there's so many different ways to make that line up. And if that is not in my path, I know that I'm going to be able to contribute to something bigger because I know my passion. I know what I want to get involved in.
And what would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned competing in the Miss America system?
The biggest thing I've learned, there's so many, I'm like trying to figure it out, but I would think I want to go with yes and, which Arkansas and America is a yes and state. And what I've learned is through glimpses in government, through Civics in Motion, just through being Miss Arkansas's teen, is that if you speak your dreams, people are going to make it happen and they're going to find out how to make it the best thing you've ever done in your entire life. So whether that is getting to interview Senator Bozeman or getting to go to Miss America's Teen, getting to win Miss America's Teen, there's so many people that are behind that, and I'm just one piece of the puzzle. And so being able to speak my dreams, and in the future when I'm no longer wearing a crown and sash, I know I can carry that with me.
And so how do you do that? How do you get kids involved? What do you do on a school visit or out on social media, things like that?
Yes, so through Miss Arkansas, I have partnered with 3 major corporations and operations, the Arkansas Secretary of State, the Winthrop Rockefeller Institute, and the Arkansas Chamber of Commerce. And together we have been able to create bingo cards as well as a curriculum to go into schools. So I have reached over 4,000 kids in Arkansas, and we have been doing mock elections, learning how everyone can participate in the mock elections. And it's crazy because you can see the light bulb that comes up in their head when they realize, like, oh, this is really fun and I can get involved in other ways. Whether they're making the posters, whether they're running, whether they're doing the values and how sharing their expressions. Every single kid has to get involved, and that's exactly what we're teaching in the real world.
So have you had the chance to speak at your high school yet about this?
No. Okay, so it's funny. I was just talking to my teacher about this yesterday because he said if I won Miss America's Teen, I could speak to his class during the politics unit, and they tested over it. So they're going away from the politics unit. So I haven't been able to speak to Bentonville High School yet, but I think that might happen in the near future.
You've been just a little busy.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. When it comes to going back to high school after winning this title, right?
Yes.
You were there. It was the end of Christmas break.
Yes.
You win the title. You go back to school the next week. What was that like?
Well, it's funny because I am a teenager, and sometimes I go to school with no makeup on and my hair in a messy bun and I'm in my sweatshirt. So people are really like, is that the girl who just won Miss America? So there's a bunch of intrigued look, but there is just so much support around it. Northwest Arkansas and Bentonville High School have been so supportive and really showing that they were there. The amount of people that watched me win that I didn't even know had any interest in it is just so eye-opening because NWA in Arkansas is such a great community.
And how do you think the things you've learned at Bentonville High over the years and started out in elementary school on have helped prepare you for this moment?
Yeah, so their motto is where excellence lives. So all the way from, I moved to Bentonville schools when I was in 4th grade. The teachers always strived for excellence. They always pushed you to be further. And excellence is kind of a word that you don't really know how to define because it's different for every person. So excellence doesn't mean always winning Miss America's Teen, but it is doing your best, trying your best in classes, trying to figure out what you need to do to push yourself further. And that is what pushed myself to be Miss America's Teen.
And you've done it. I know your parents are so
Yes.
proud. We're so proud of you here in Arkansas, and we can't wait to cheer you on all year. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you so much
Peyton.
for having me.